Sally Justin Raphael, and I'm sitting here with my girlfriends, and we are doing The Dish. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Ellen DeGeneres.
Connie Chong, Congo Child.
Barbara Walters on 2020.
And Naisha Dupree.
Oh, Oprah.
Go ahead, girl.
But anyway, we want to talk about families. You know, in the gay community, we all have kids and grandkids, and, you know, we're grandparents and mothers and fathers and all of that. And so we've been getting a lot of emails saying, you know, can I be your child? Can you be my parent? And all that. So we all were discussing, you know, what does it take to be a member of your family, and how many kids is enough? Is there a limit when it comes to you having all these gay kids and all of that? But at the end, I want to throw another question in there for the panelists. But right now, we're just going to talk about, you know, how do you become one of your gay kids?
Well, I have a side comment with that too. I think that, especially for some of the viewers watching, that especially some of our heterosexual community that may not really know what the family is, to kind of explain what the family means and how that came about. Oh. Come on, child. In the gay community, sometimes when people come out in the lifestyle, they are abandoned by their family, and that's kind of, in a sense, how these gay families come about, as well as sometimes people move from their cities that they're from, so their friends become kind of like their family net and their core family, in a sense. So that's kind of where it stems from. If any of you are familiar with the movie Paris is Burning, they kind of briefly touched on that as well with the ball scene. It was the same basic concept there, the family unit with the houses and stuff.
Well, for me, as far as like with my family, I base wanting to bring kids into my family based on relationships, because to me the relationship is what holds strong outside of the shows, outside of the balls. It's the tight internet the tight internet that you have between the bonding of a child and the mentor or the parent, so to speak, just like a brother and sister, a mother and a father, you know, a unit in a marriage, something of that sort. That's how I base it on wanting to bring kids into the family, if I can really assist and aid them in any possible way, because I think different families and different mentors offer different things. And I think everybody's strong in their own pursuit that they really signify on and really, you know, are really strong with. So for me, I always try to nurture in my children that, because this is how I was brought up, that your word is bond, so try to keep your word. That's what my grandfather taught me when he was in the military, so I always grew up with that. And then also I always try to make sure that all of my kids can receive the unadulterated truth when it comes to the morals and the biblical teachings that were bestowed on me when I was young. So I always tell them.
Hold that thought right there. We're going to get into that.
Okay.
Let Naisha, you know, discuss some of your family, because the Duprees are all over the world. I believe they have Duprees in Japan.
My family, they do. They have them in Japan as well as Brazil. However, my family I actually started the Dupree family, but it was based on how I was treated when I first moved to Atlanta. Now, I was actually close with my family, so I loved the bond that I had with my family. However, when I moved to Atlanta, I met a lot of kids, like gay kids, who were actually shunned from their families and didn't have, like you said earlier, like a close niche or anybody they could turn to in times of need. But when I moved here, I was blessed by like Candy Johnson, Cherie, all those different girls, like drag girls who were here, who just instantly, anything I needed when I was starting out, just would call to check on me on a regular basis, wanted me to come over for dinners and everything else. So they were just all close to me, and when they started me and kept me on the right track within the gay community, so to speak. So I always think that each one should teach one, and that was like my job to like reach back or make sure that my time here served a purpose. So that's how I started bonding with different individuals. And you know, you have some who are like maybe down in their luck or lost their apartment, or you're trying to get them to get back into school or things of that nature. And through that, you probably make a bond with some of their friends or a loved one of theirs or a lover of theirs, and they who have a preconceived notion of what a drag queen's life is about, and this and that. Then they actually get to know the person and establish their relationship, and they start seeing you as a figure of authority in their life and call you for different life choices and advice and stuff like that. And that's how my family actually started.
Okay. Mario, you have a lot of kids too.
Mine is similar to Naisha. I'm real close with my family. And most of mine started with being friends, and then they would call for advice and that type of thing, and then they just started looking up to you and holding you at a certain level. Everybody can't be your child, though. Right. Certain people can't be your children because of certain reasons, but with my family or with my children, I try to make sure that they, after everything is over with, when they go home, they have, you know, some type of support system. I look at it as a support system. And if they can't go to their family, if they can't go to their friend, at least they have a brother or sister who they call, or their mother that they can come to and get that advice or that hug that they need, or something to ensure that they go on through the next day. Because a lot of them, because I have more young children than I do older children, and their families don't understand what they're going through. So they need an outlet or somebody to talk to, and you have to give them that type of advice.
And my definition of family is just like my real family, my mom and my father, and what I saw family unit as I was growing up. And so that's what I try to instill in my gay family, is the same morals and values that, you know, I got from my real family. And also all the reasons that you guys said. And also I learned that you can't have everybody as your kids, but you can help everybody. But just because you help people don't mean you have to allow them to be a part of your family. And another thing that I've done, you know, like for the last 5 or 6 years, like every now and then I'll just take someone who is like an outsider, cast out, somebody that's not, you know, although they may have the relationship with their real family, but somebody that everybody want to associate with. You know, like we are considered the in crowd to some people, and somebody they just want to be around us. And some people I will take under my wing because I know they're like, you know, the underdog, so I'll give them a shot. But I'll let them know, you know, at the same time that, you know, I didn't work this hard to build up my name to let you come along and just tear it down. Now, if you want to be a part of me, if you want to hang out with me and my friends, then this is what you need to clean up and all that kind of stuff. But,
which is
you know,
good, which is, I think, is the purpose, and that's how, like, I have a lot of different kids who have, like, personal beefs or vendettas with one another. And it's all because, like, in the gay community, you know, we have so many different hats and divide up in so many different groups. We never even realize so much in common we have with the other person. But because of the group or division that we formed ourselves, and the what is it? I guess I would say it would be your ego or your pride keeps you from gelling. So with me as the common denominator in that closeness, you know, when I have them come over to the house, I warrant that all attitudes and I left outside of my house when you come in, and that's when they have an opportunity to actually form bonds and realize that somebody they hadn't been talking to for years in the club became their best friend.
Right. Unlike you all, I think my experience with the family is a little bit different. You know, I don't have a bunch of children, and you know, the whole family thing was pretty much kind of new to me. And as I'm listening to you guys, the way you were brought up and the way I was brought up was kind of different. I was an only child in a single-parent home, so which probably lends itself to why my dealings with having gay children is a little bit different. I have one now, I guess, so to speak, and that child was adopted just because when we started hanging out, other people kind of pretty much made him my child because there were vast similarities between us. So it was like, he acts just like you, and ironically, our names were both named Jason. But I think my role in the whole family unit has been the consummate auntie. I mean, I have lots of nieces and nephews, and everybody, hey, TT, hey, auntie, you know, so I'm like that fun auntie, you know, which I think all of us at some point had that fun auntie. I remember I did growing up. You know, auntie is what we called her, and you know, she was closer in age to the cousins and stuff, so she would do things with us, hang out with us. You know, we could talk to her.
You said you only have one child?
Well, one gay child.
But what I thought. I'm sorry, Lily.
Lily is not a homosexual. Lily is a heterosexual dog, and then I do have a heterosexual daughter that I worked with, who is my daughter, and even Jason's friend, Kelly, who is also a daughter, but heterosexual. They're not really in the gay community. Their involvement in the gay community really is through me and what I do. So
and also with the gay family, even though you would think that we just have gay children as like males. You do have lesbians that are your children and that type of thing. So it's really made up of a lot of different, of the whole communities.
And another question everybody was wondering was, is there such thing as enough kids, and do you have a cutoff limit when it comes to your kids?
Well, I think that would depend on the individual, because it just depends on how much love and advice you have to offer. So it's like Josephine Baker, who, you know, she had like a full tribe of children because she had enough of love and she gave more of herself for all of those different individuals. Now, if you are a selfish individual, or the purpose of you having children is to promote yourself or to rise and not assist them, then you probably don't need any children.
Well, I think what that is, like, some people come into your life for a reason, and they will always be attached as your child, but they have gotten themselves together and has kind of moved on, but they will still be known as your child, so that leaves room for other children to come. Not necessarily to take their place, but you can help that person because now you have helped someone who is now able to stand on their own.
But my tubes are tied, though.
And I think it also depends on experiences, too.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
I've often said that I didn't want any more children because after so long, you know, as we get older and we mature in different, you know, levels of life. You know, we go different when we mature through different levels of life. You sometimes want to make sure that the things that you instilled in your children, that they should be taking the torch and passing it on to the next generation. So I should not have to deal with the same dealings with my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren that I have dealt with my kids. Sometimes it might happen that way, but very seldom does it, you know, come through where somebody says, I want you to be my parent, this and they have a real valid reason. Right. Or either you seek them out and say, you know what, I went through the same exact thing, come over here. You go, or either if not, for me, I know somebody who's going to help you. Go over there and talk to this woman over here. So you know, it's one of those. But it just depends on those different type of situations. You know, I say I don't want any kids. I'm like Naisha. My tubes are tied because I've had enough.
Yeah,
well,
I think
the grandkids and the great-grandkids are 10 times more trying than the kids. So
this day and time is a lot different.
And I feel like sometimes the grandkids and the grandkids want to latch on more to us than our kids did.
But I think it's hard for us to say that we don't want more kids. Although you say you don't want more kids, and I think it's kind of hard to just say there's a cutoff limit when it comes to family because they look at us as role models, and that's why they want us to be their parents and all that, and they want to be our kids and stuff. So we don't want to disappoint anybody and let anybody down because it's like somebody is seeking, you know, some guidance and some help and everything. We don't feel like that we're letting anybody down. But, you know, you never know, honey. Keep asking. You may be a Dupree, you may be a Young, you may be a Balenciaga, or Lord, or you may be a McLaughlin, or you may be a J. Michaels. Yes. Okay, see, I learned something today. Maybe a J. Michael, or you may be a Macintosh. But anyway, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions, honey. But our cameraman said, no, we're not talking about New Year's resolutions, so I guess I'll just go and try to
we're not coming back
right now. That's what he
Happy
said.
New Year!
Happy New Year!
We're not coming back. Oh!
That was the
See you next year.
Happy New Year!